Hi everybody, Adam here. Welcome back to our Lego room. It's been a crazy almost 3 weeks really here. We had the SuperTrain train show that we took a large chunk of the layout out to for displaying with the rest of our train group. That was a lot of fun. I was really happy with how that came together and turned out. We pretty much rolled straight from that into BrickCan, and then coming out of BrickCan, been dealing with some allergies and a bit of a cold. So it's been crazy, and the Lego room kind of shows it at the moment. We have started the process of unpacking everything from SuperTrain, but obviously the layout is not back together yet. We've got a number of projects on the go as well, and I'm also just trying to organize and get everything sort of back into shape so it's easier to find things. We can finish off some of our different builds that we're working on. So there's a lot of stuff going on and a lot of cool things to show you guys. So let's dive in and get started. Now, one of the first things you'll notice, obviously the layout is not back together yet, but we are making good progress today through the unpacking of everything. We've got most things unpacked. We've got a little bit of track that is still in a bin there. We've got some more mills modules in a bin there. But everything is, for the most part, out and around the layout. So happy with that. That's the first part of getting everything sort of back together. The unfortunate thing from the transiting of mills modules and buildings to and from the show, we do have a few casualties that are going to need some repair work. You can see on the grain elevator here, it's showing some signs of wear from moving to and from shows. Parts of the structure are coming apart a bit, mostly around the little side area here for trucks to go in and dump the grain into the grain elevator. So work to be done there. Not sure that I'm going to do that immediately, but I've got some plans for the grain elevator. So that'll be one of the things that we're going to want to work on here in the coming weeks. Still really happy with the top part of the grain elevator. It has transported well since we did the move to modularize that part of the build. So really happy with that. And the little support structure beside the grain elevator has held up well also. So really happy with that, but definitely some work that we're going to have to do on the main body part of the elevator itself. As part of that work, I don't often show the inside part of the elevator here, but you can see I built a whole bunch of structure inside here to help it keep its shape, not only when it's on display just here in the Lego room, but especially when I'm moving it to and from shows. This has worked really well, but as part of sort of rebuilding and reimagining the grain elevator, I'm going to reimagine and rework on this internal structure as well. Part of it came apart in the moving process as well. I've gotten that part all back together, but I would like to make some changes here now that I have had some experience with moving it to and from shows. I think there's some ways that I could integrate this better into the overall structure. Maybe even simplify it a little bit while still retaining the strength and support that it gives to the overall structure. So this is going to be likely a multi-week project that we do over the next few months, but looking forward to kind of reinvigorating this and getting it back to sort of tip-top shape so that, you know, it looks its best here in the Lego room, but that it's also able to move out to a show again in the future, depending on when and where we want to display this again. So Happy that this has survived. I think all the changes I've been doing have been really helping it to, sort of last this long, but it's definitely showing some wear now. And I think it should be a lot of fun to not only fix it up, but make some improvements to it now as part of this process. Now, the other casualty of the transporting process was the telegraph tower. Not too worried about this though. I think that for the most part it is intact and it shouldn't be too bad to put back together. Fingers crossed. But, on the whole, with just the telegraph tower, the grain elevator, and a few trees that have come partly, apart in the moving process, pretty happy with how everything went. It's actually, asking a lot of all the different buildings and modules to move to and from a show. The taking apart, the reassembling, taking apart, reassembling, transporting stuff in a vehicle, bumpy roads, all of that. It's asking a lot, and I think that things have held up pretty well, which I think is not only a testament to sort of how we've gotten better at moving stuff to and from shows, but I think that as part of that, we've gotten pretty good at how to pack stuff, how to make sure that things separate apart in a nice way so that they can be transported. So really happy overall with how things survived. So while there's some things to fix, for the most part, it's really just kind of slotting things back together in the way that we want them. We've got a lot of track to place back around the layout. We've obviously got our T-junction that we took apart, a number of our switches entering into both the siding along the edge of the table here, but also in through the yard area there. So lots of assembly. We only took one corner module this time, so we'd like to get that back together. The one thing that I'm looking to do, though, as part of the reattaching and building everything back out again, is I'd like to take this opportunity while things are apart to take note of how the underlying tiling is set up for floating the different track modules that are on top of these mills plates. We obviously have a lot of corner modules that we're going to be putting together for the lower layout. We've got a couple of the Christmas Village corners that are ready to go with mills modules here and over there. So, a great opportunity to make sure that we are setting all of those mills modules up the way that we have for our other corners. And we obviously have our second full T-junction down there on the bottom. So a great time as well to take note of all of not only the tiling that we've done, but how we have put these mills modules together. You'll see that for the T-junction, we've got the two 2x2 chunks here. We've got that's a 1x3 chunk there. And then we've got some individual mills modules as well that fit into the middle. So just really a good opportunity while things are kind of apart and it's easy to take note of how things are set up to sort of copy that and get things moving along for the lower layout there and some of the other modules that we're currently working on building. I don't think all of that will take too long, but it is definitely going to be a process and kind of something that is best to sort of bite off at the moment as we're going through this reassembly process. Now, one of the things you've probably noticed already from the various angles I've shown of the room, we've got a lot of parts sorted, not sorted, out and around the layout. So both at this end over here, and as you start to wrap around the corner over here, lots of parts out and about. One of the things that I've been slow on of late is getting things sorted and organized, both from just a pure building perspective and some of the projects that we're working on, but also in getting things back into our Acro Mills containers on the wall there. So what I've been doing, trying to kind of clear out the floor, make it easier to move around the layout. I've been putting things up onto the layout here. Obviously, they're not going to live there very long because that will make it hard to get things reassembled and get trains running again. But this is kind of part of the process. I want to really take stock of all the parts that we have. We actually have a lot of different projects that we need to order parts for. So getting things kind of cataloged, updated is going to be really important to take note of what we already have and what we need to get ordered on BrickLink. So you can see parts up there, parts here, parts down there. There's a lot of parts around the room, but kind of a necessary project and a necessary sort of process to go through to get things organized. Been pretty happy. We've been able to do a bunch of work here at this end with getting parts sorted and up off the floor. This looks better than it was, and it still looks crazy, so it kind of tells you where things were at, but really doing a bunch of work here to get things sorted and in place so that we can work on not only the vinegar factory down there, which would be a great new module to have in the layout, but we've also been starting the process of putting together we got one set of train cars there and 4 locomotives that are in progress. So really looking forward to getting these parts into a place where we can kind of supercharge and accelerate some of those builds. And obviously, as you look around the room, you'll see there's lots of tubs still of Lego that need to be sorted out and organized in a way that we can easily get at those various pieces. So we'll be making a big push to continue on with getting this sorted out, organized so that we can do the building. And like I said, so that we can get part orders going. So expect an upcoming video as we kind of go through all the different parts we have and where these things are getting used and some of the ordering that we're going to do for projects. I know there's a bunch of things that we've talked about on the channel that I would like to get going on building. So some fun things ahead there, but sort of a necessary process here at the moment to get things into a better place, not only to find parts, but just to make it easier to move around. It's very easy to get into an overwhelmed state with parts moving around and kind of lose track of what you have. And so a good process to sort of go through and get a handle again on everything that we have available for projects and, what projects we're ready to get going on based on the parts that we have. And honestly, to make room for new BrickLink orders to come in so that we can parse through those as well without them just kind of joining the sea of parts that we have at the moment here. As part of that part cleanup, I also have a large number of lighting projects that are ready to go as well. And I just need to get the various orders from Brick Stuff organized in a way. We've got more parts over there for some of the lighting stuff that we're doing. Need to get that all sort of organized and set up so that as we are putting some of these modules back into the layout, we can easily slip in at a minimum, all of the expansion slots to connect from module to module so that we can start to wire power through really the entirety of the layout. I think we've got enough connectors that we're going to make a nice dent in this part of the layout over here. Really excited about the potential of having more power through the modules, not only for signal lights, but we've got a number of other lighting plans that I think are going to add a lot to the layout. So That'll be a big project as well as we go through and organize things. And then the other area, which we've been talking about recently, and that I'm hoping to make a good bit of progress on here as we start to get these Mills modules in place and tiled for the track to go on, is the lower layout. Really happy with how this has been coming together. So much track here, so many Mills modules, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And one of my short-term goals is just to get all of the track laid out here without the Mills modules underneath, so that we can start to see what things are going to look like, but also start to run some trains around and get a feel for the capabilities that this is going to open up for us, and to see if there's any additional track or other types of modules we might want to add in to really flesh this lower layout out to the place that we want it to get to. But this is another big chunk here that, as we organize parts and sort of move the Mills modules along, we should be able to make a big push here and accelerate some of this work. But it's definitely looking cool down here. Happy with how things have been coming together. We've been building out additional Mills modules, like I said. Definitely some more parts that we're going to need for some of these modules. As you guys probably know, and we've talked about on the channel before, Mills modules are amazing, but they really do soak up the parts. So lots of work ahead there as well. But, hopeful that we're going to be able to make some good progress here through this sort of reorganizing process. And like I mentioned at the start, it's going to be super useful having some of these modules from the upper layout kind of apart at this point in time, because then it's going to make it easier to get the T-junction over there set up, easier to get these corner modules set up. So looking forward to starting to push forward on those areas as well. And one of the areas that I've shown kind of in passing, but we haven't talked about in a little while, is the shelving area that we put in over on this corner of the Lego room over here. Going to be doing some cleanup and tidy work here. We've got our Bricker Builds models on display at this end of the room here, with Charmander and Pikachu currently, but we have Mario, Shy Guy, and Yoshi in parts or sort of in progress and ready to add to this area. So looking forward to tidying this area up a bit, getting those builds finished off and in place, which will, not only I think really look cool at this end of the room, but will open up some more space for us to move stuff around as well, and will really aid in the organizing process. So if that sounds like a lot of work, it really is. It's going to be a busy time ahead. Really happy though that we're heading into a long weekend here for Easter. I think it's going to give us an opportunity to really make some inroads on the work here. And, overall, just really excited to get the layout back together for the upper part of the city layout area that we have here. It'll be really nice to be able to start running trains around on this part of the layout again. And that's kind of my goal for the weekend. I'd really like to get the tabletop area at a minimum reassembled, cleaned up, back together, and then tackle as much as I can around the room in addition to that. So this will be kind of the beginning of the weekend video, and we'll try to get a video up at the end of the weekend to show our progress and where we have gotten to. And in the process of that, there'll probably be some other videos that'll be showing up from this time on the channel soon as well, to highlight some of the work that we're doing on these other projects on the lower layout, etc. So Exciting times ahead, I think. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please make sure to do so that you don't miss out on any of our upcoming videos. And if you have thoughts on the layout, things that we should consider as we're putting stuff back together, happy to hear those. Make sure to comment below and let us know those thoughts. And I hope everybody has a great day. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.